Now that I've told you where to find the official GitHub repo, it's time for you to download the starter project that we will use for this course. So if you look at the resources in this lesson, you'll find this file called e-commerce app section 1. So make sure to download this file and extract it on your system. And once you have done that, you can open it in VS Code. And just to be clear, you should consider this to be a starting point that we will build upon for the rest of the course. But of course, as we make progress, you may be tempted to try out different things, and by all means, you're welcome to experiment with this code as much as you want. However, this also means that you may end up with a project that no longer compiles or is not in line with the content of the course. For this reason, at the beginning of each section, I will share some updated code snapshots so that you can get a working project that compiles and runs without errors. And now that I've clarified this, let me give you an overview about this starter project. This project was generated using Flutter 3.0 and is based on a well-known Flutter skeleton template that serves as a good starting point for new Flutter apps. And a good place to start is to open the pubspec.yaml file. And what you'll find here is that this project is based on Dart version 2.18, which was first launched with Flutter 3.3. So make sure that you're running on Flutter 3.3 or above if you want to run this. And as part of this starter project, I've also included a very small number of packages, including Flutter Launcher Icons, which is used to create the app icon for iOS and Android, along with the intl package, which is used for some simple date and currency formatting. And I've also included a couple of small UI packages called Flutter Layout Grid and Flutter Rating Bar, and I'll show you where they're used in the coming lessons. And if you take a look at the dev dependencies section, you'll find the Flutter lints package, which enables all the recommended linter rules for this project. And this is based on version 2.0, which was also launched alongside Flutter 3. And if we scroll down, we find all these directives for generating the app icon, as well as this option, which is used to generate localized strings for the project. And I've also added this assets/products folder that contains all the product images that we will need when running the application. In fact, if you want, you can open this folder and you can see what all these products look like. And of course, if you build a real e-commerce app, you wouldn't just bundle all the product images in the app itself. Instead, you would load them dynamically from the network. But since we are just getting started, we are not going to worry about this, and we will see how to load images from the network later on. Okay, so let's get back to the pubspec.yaml file. And at this stage, we can already go ahead and get all the latest packages. And when we are done with this, we can run the app to make sure that everything works correctly. And at this stage, we can run on all the different platforms that are supported by Flutter. So whether you want to develop on iOS, Android, Chrome, macOS, Windows or Linux, it's completely up to you. And in fact, all the code and packages that we will use in this course will be compatible with all these platforms. In fact, for the best developer experience, I recommend that you choose either Windows or macOS depending on your operating system, because these targets are very easy to spin up and they don't use too many system resources. And on top of that, the app that we will use is completely responsive, so you'll find it easier to run it on desktop. So in my case, I can choose Mac OS and press F5 to run the app. And as for you, feel free to select your target of choice and run the app as well. This will take a few seconds. And once the build is complete, you should see the app running over here. With that said, I want to point out that if you are trying to run the app on iOS or macOS for the first time, then you're likely to get this error telling you that the sandbox is not in sync with the podfile.lock and suggesting to run pod install or update your CocoaPod installation. And whenever you get errors like this, it's always a good idea to look at the console log. In fact, in this case, we are told that we need to run pod install to solve this problem. So let's do that by opening the terminal, and from here we can move to the iOS folder by typing cd iOS, and then we can run pod install, like this. And after we are done with this, we can try to run the app again, and wait for the build to complete. And this time we should manage to get it running over here. And if for some reason the build still doesn't work for you, then make sure to check the notes in this lesson where I've listed solutions to some common build errors. In fact, I suggest that you always check the notes in the course lessons, as they may contain some additional information or clarify some questions that you may have. Alright, so let's continue on the next lesson.